Federal government revitalizes silo concession program to cut post-harvest losses, boost food security.
Performance of some of these concessions, and with the view of seeing how we can enhance them.
No leadership vacuum in Rivers State as Governor Fubara resumes after 6 months state of emergency.
We will, by the grace of God, continue to do those things that has made you people love us.
And Ebola virus scare a hoax. NCDC allays fears of Nigerians following deaths of suspected case, urges public vigilance.
We have no cases of Ebola in the country.
Good evening, I'm Lami Ali, live from Abuja. This is NTA Network News. Your first stop for the biggest stories across Nigeria and beyond. Tonight, we will take you to Lagos, where Hingino John Adams is standing by with the latest from the nation's commercial center. On the business desk, Benny Adams tracks the latest moves in the markets and what they mean for you. So, Benny, give us a tip of what you have.
Well, it is about more knowledge and more money for investors in Nigeria's capital market, as Nasarawa State University becomes the very first institution in Africa to inject the capital market with knowledge to grow the economy.
That's good news. And in sports, Badia Dele brings us the highlights and big wins making headlines. Badi.
Well, Nigeria's Ezekiel Nathaniel earlier today missed out, on a medal at the World Athletics Championships in the 400 meters hurdles, but he won the heart of Nigerians. We'll talk about that when we get to sports.
So check us out on our website, nta.ng/live for live streaming. NTA is also on X as NTA News Now, and you can follow us across other social media platforms. Our handles are displayed on the screen. Stay with us for the news. President Bola Tinubu is once more assuring the family of late Muhammadu Buhari and Nigerians that the spirits of honesty and integrity of the former president will be sustained without stains. The president visited the widow of the former president, Aisha Buhari, in Kaduna. State House correspondent Musbah Donwahab reports that the president also attended a wedding ceremony of a son of former Zamfara State Governor Abdul Aziz Yari.
Arrival of President Bola Tinubu in Kaduna for a dual mission. The number and caliber of high-profile public officers on the receiving line clearly indicated the popularity of the main host of the day, a former governor of Zamfara State, Abdulaziz Yari, whose son found a partner.
National salute! Present!
And then to the Sultan Bello Mosque for the wedding Fatiha. Serving and former governors from across the country, members of the National Assembly, ministers, Islamic scholars, among others, were there to honor the groom's father, a senator currently representing Zamfara West. But on this occasion, President Tinubu represented the Yari's family in the solemnization of Nasiruddin Yari and Sefiya Shehu Idris. Earlier, in the Jummah sermon, Chief Imam Mohammed Suleiman admonished Nigerians to support the government to succeed in the fight against insecurity in parts of the country. Loyalty played out as the president and his entourage of governors and high-ranking National Assembly members moved to the residence of late Muhammadu Buhari. Family members joined the widow, Aisha, to receive a political associate of a late husband. While promising continued solidarity with the family, President Tinubu says he will continue to sustain the impeccable virtues of his predecessor.
We are just here to assure you that we share in your grief, we share in your pain. a loss in flesh is not a loss in the spirit. The spirit that he left with us, the spirit of hard work, dedication, patriotism, and honesty. We abide in that. We assure you, you and the entire family, and we will continue with the legacy of our leader. And the spirit that he left behind will not be stained.
Ajia Aisha appreciated President Bola Tinubu and other Nigerians for the historic burial ceremony accorded her husband.
I will thank you for all the support given to us. I thank Nigerians. I thank your administration. I thank every one of you, most especially your wife, the governor's wives, the minister's wives, Speaker.
They prayed for the deceased, his family, and for a more peaceful and prosperous Nigeria. The president is back in Abuja. Musbao, then Wahab, NC News.
Now, the federal government plans to revitalize the nation's silo concession program to reduce post-harvest losses, enhance food storage systems, and achieve food sovereignty. The Minister of Agriculture and Food Security, Abubakar Kari, stated that the initiative aims to address Nigeria's staggering $10 billion annual post-harvest loss. Musa Baba Aliu reports.
In September 2018, the federal government, through the then Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development, concessioned 20 out of the 33 silos complexes to private sector operators. This followed the Federal Executive Council's approval, which is expected to generate revenue worth 6 billion naira annually for 10 years. The concession exercise was carried out under the supervision of the Infrastructure Concession Regulatory Commission. 7 years into the journey, the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security observed that out of the 17 silo complexes concessioned to 5 private companies, only 1 is operational.
Tinkering about the issue, performance of some of these concessions, and with a view of seeing how we can enhance them.
He noted that several concessionaires have failed to maintain facilities, with some sites, including those in Ikorodu and Abuja, suffering from vandalism and collapsed perimeter fences. He also highlighted that many concessionaires have defaulted on payment obligation.
However, we believe that there are loopholes that we can also plug in and make sure that we derive maximum benefit from the assets that we have.
That if somebody gets a concession, you don't have to jubilate because you have to go and raise money to use it. It's not government contract that is somebody is paying you. If you don't invest, you cannot generate money from it.
To address these challenges, Kyari said the ministry will collaborate with the ICRC to strengthen oversight, enforce compliance, and ensure only competent operators manage silo facilities. Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
The federal government has taken steps to ensure seamless implementation of the National Energy Master Plan for improved electricity supply and energy security, with the inauguration of a committee to drive the reform. Director General of the Energy Commission of Nigeria, Dr. Mustafa Abdullahi, emphasizes that the National Energy Master Plan serves as a comprehensive blueprint to ensure energy security, expand access to reliable electricity, promote renewable energy, and reduce Nigeria's carbon footprint in line with global climate goals. Minister of Science, Technology and Innovation, Uche Naji, reaffirms federal government's commitment to modernizing the energy sector, strengthening public-private partnerships, and promoting indigenous innovation in energy technologies. The National Energy Master Plan Implementation Committee is expected to ensure Nigeria's energy infrastructure keeps pace with industrial growth, population expansion, and environmental sustainability imperatives. Now, Nigeria's Minister of Marine and Blue Economy, Adegboyega Oyetola, has invited international investors to tap into the country's vast marine and blue economy opportunities, highlighting its potential as a gateway to Africa's economic transformation. Speaking at the London International Shipping Week 2025, Oyetola emphasized Nigeria's commitment to regulatory reforms, port modernization, maritime security, and sustainable shipping practices, making it an attractive investment destination. He cited the success of the Deep Blue project, which eliminated piracy in Nigerian waters, and stressed the need for regulatory harmonization across Africa's maritime sector to boost trade and economic growth. The Minister of Interior says the days of long waits and passport backlogs are numbered. He gave the assurance while inspecting the Data Personalization Center at the Nigeria Immigration Service headquarters in Abuja. Victor Azu reports.
At the core of passport production is the Data Personalization Center, where biometric data is processed and security features are stamped in. For Minister Olubunmi Tunjioju, seeing the process up close was necessary to make sure reforms deliver real results.
We now have a system here that will bring an end forever to the era of backlog, because production can be done at record time.
The minister says the new center will cut delays and restore public confidence in Nigeria's passport system. He insists technology and oversight must go together to deliver faster, smarter service to Nigerians at home and abroad.
We're doing about 250, 300 per machine per day. Today, the system that you've seen does about 1,000 per hour. Within 4 or 5 hours of working, NIS can provide solutions to the demand of Nigerians.
With reforms picking up pace, the old bottlenecks of passport application may soon give way to efficiency, transparency, and trust. In Abuja, Victor Azu, NTA News.
We move to Rivers State, where the state governor, Simeonala Ifubara, has resumed duties as the government house, Port Harcourt, following the lifting of the 6-month emergency rule. The governor had, in a broadcast this evening, appreciated President Tinubu for the return of democratic governance to the state. Sina Bamigboyi reports.
Governor Simeonala Ifubara arrived Port Harcourt after the 6-month suspension and emergency rule and received a warm welcome from the people of the state at the Port Harcourt International Airport and at Government House, where he inspected the executive chambers and addressed journalists. He promised to complete all projects initiated earlier in his administration.
I am really humbled by what I saw at the airport. It showed love, confidence, and solidarity.
The governor also assured the people of his administration's commitment to policies and programs that will further promote peace, development, and well-being of all residents. In his broadcast to the people of the state, Governor Ifubara expressed gratitude to the Nigerian president for brokering peace in Rivers State and the restoration of democratic institutions, affirming that valuable lessons have been learned during the challenging period of emergency rule.
Heartfelt gratitude to Mr. President for his fatherly disposition and decisive intervention in resolving the political crisis and for graciously restoring full democratic governance to our states.
He is also grateful to the FCT Minister, Nyesom Wike, and other stakeholders for their roles in the resolution of the crisis. In Port Harcourt, Senam Bamigboye, NTA News.
Time for a quick break. More reports in a moment.
The Senate President Godswill Akpabio, GCON, extends his special appreciation to His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, His Excellency the Vice President Kashim Shettima, GCON, for attending the wedding fatiha of Jagaban Mafara, Nasiruddin Abdulaziz Yara Abubakar, and Hajiya Safiya Shehu Idris, which took place at Sultan Jumaat Mosque, Kaduna, on Friday, 19 September 2025. The Senate President equally extended hearty appreciations to the Senate leadership, distinguished senators, Honorable Speaker, House of Representatives, Dr. Tajuddin Abbas, GCON, leadership, and honorable members of the House of Representatives, the APC National Chairman, Professor Natangwe Goshwe Yilwatda, and his National Working Committee, all ministers, all state governors, traditional rulers, technocrats, ulamas, family, friends, and associates who attended the grand and memorable event. For more blessings and safe return to your various destinations. Announcer, Honorable Abdul Malik Zubairu Zannam Bungudu, member representing Maru Bungudu Federal Constituency, Zamfara State.
Reports from the Nigeria Center for Disease Control and Prevention, NCDC, has confirmed that there are no cases of Ebola virus disease in the country. The Director General of the Center, Dr. Jide Idris, emphasized that the clarification has become imperative following widespread concerns over reports of suspected cases of the virus, and also reiterated that surveillance has been intensified across Nigeria's entering ports. Olushe Adiagbo reports.
Let me confirm again, right now, we have no cases of Ebola in the country. But I must say again that this social media thing can create panic. And this is something again that we would like to discourage, that people again should only listen to information coming from NCDC so that we have a coordinated information line.
In the past week, Nigeria has reported 2 suspected cases of Ebola, with the most recent case on Wednesday, September 17, 2025. The patients returning from Kigali, Rwanda, sought medical attention at Ninsa Premier Hospital, Abuja, upon arrival.
Our rapid response team of our infection prevention and control team were able to review the situation and decided to isolate the patient in our isolation wards. The results came out some few hours ago, and the patient tested negative for some of the viral hemorrhagic fever, including the Ebola and the Marburg virus.
But more importantly, again, I must commend the effort of the private hospital that started and triggered this. But this is the kind of collaboration we expect from Nigerians, because without that, we probably wouldn't have known.
Use this opportunity to tell every private hospital our numbers are there for them. They know the protocol. Any disease that is potentially infectious, contagious, can lead to death of citizens should be reported immediately.
The NCDC has issued a public health advisory urging health workers and the general public to strictly follow safety protocols to reduce the risks of exposure. In Abuja, Oluseye Adiagbo, NTA News.
Now, the cooperation between Nigeria and China is leading the way in the China-Africa relations, and hence must be sustained and taken to greater heights. Deputy Chief of Mission at the Chinese Embassy in Nigeria, Zhu Hongyu, stated this as the handover of 1,000 family relief kits donated by the Red Cross Society of China to the Nigerian Red Cross in Abuja. Chukunonso Mwaboise reports.
The gesture by the Red Cross Society of China, Chinese Embassy Deputy Chief of Mission in Nigeria, Zhou Hongyu, says is to further deepen the cordial relationship that exists between Nigeria and China, expressing optimism that the equipment will aid in meeting the humanitarian needs of those affected by any form of disaster across the country.
I believe through that small project between the China's Red Cross Society is the new start between the two societies. We're really looking forward to closely collaboration, looking forward to active communication in the future.
Which assure the Chinese Embassy and also Chinese Red Cross Society of collaboration and cooperation today and also in the future in alleviating the suffering of those affected by crisis in this country.
The Nigerian Red Cross Society used the medium to solicit for more support from other global institutions and public-spirited individuals in cushioning the devastating effects of disaster across the country. Chukwunonsonwa Bueze, NTN News.
Kano State government remains committed to addressing the manpower gap in the education sector by continually recruiting more teaching staff. Governor Abba Kabir Yusuf stated this while presenting appointment letters to over 4,000 newly recruited teachers under the State Universal Basic Education Board. Abdullahi Mustafa has the details.
I work hard. Saifullah Yahya is one of the 4,315 individuals presented with letters of permanent and pensionable appointment by Governor Abba Kabir Yusuf. After initially serving under the Better Education Service Delivery for All BESDA program, they have now been formally engaged to address the manpower gap within the state's universal basic education system.
This administration remains resolute in its commitment to restoring the glory of our education sector as the driving force for the overall development of our dear state.
It was a moment of celebration of educational milestones, with stakeholders congratulating Governor Yusuf on this achievement, as well as the state's excellent performance in the recent NECO examinations. Aisha, an SS1 student with outstanding academic performance at the Government Girls Science and Technical College, Kano. Overcome with emotion, she shed tears of joy upon receiving an 11 million naira scholarship package to support her education through the remainder of secondary school and into a university engineering program. Governor Yusuf reaffirmed his administration's commitment to supporting education and assured that more such interventions would follow. He also announced plans to recruit additional 2,600 teachers to further strengthen the sector. In Kano, Abdullahi Mustafa, NTA News.
Reports reaching us from Gombe indicate that stakeholders in the education sector are joining forces to tackle out-of-school children crisis, pledging to enroll over 400,000 students in the 2025 academic year. Emmanuel Akila reports that this was the resolve by stakeholders at a critical one-day roundtable focused on a new enrollment drive campaign to boost education drive in Gombe.
In recent years, Gombe State government intensifies efforts to reduce the number of out-of-school children, but the goal is not yet reached. Therefore, this stakeholders' engagement is aimed at coming up with practical strategies towards addressing the problem.
We have identified vocational skills for the out-of-school and almajiris, and we have introduced programs like 6 months or 9 months intensive coaching, and then writing SSCE or WAEC or NBIs by these out-of-school children, because some of them are so aged that you cannot bring a 17-year-old and say start from primary 1.
This year's enrollment drive campaign program is pragmatic and designed to develop a behavioral change communication of material for back to school and drive strategic activities.
There is no development without education, and everybody must be educated. It's not a privilege, it's a right.
I've been encouraging women especially to allow their girl child to go to school, and even the fathers to put in a word for the child, especially the girl child, so that she will be educated to have a better family.
The stakeholders conclude that it is not enough to raise the bar in enrollment, but returning the children in school is key to changing the narrative. In Gombe, Emmanuel Akila, NTA News.
Now, the case between Libata, Kabirba and Kongo communities in Ngaski local government area of Kebbi State against El Saddam Exploration Company has continued, with the court adjourning the proceedings to serve the first and second defendants fresh criminal summon. Jafar Yusuf Ilu has the details.
A federal high court order restraining the current court from entertaining the case.
When you are trying to get consent, let's assume that the allegations are true, which are not true. When they were trying to get consent, they said they could try to compromise the children of the landowners. They gave them money. Now, those are actions in pursuance of obtaining a mining license.
On the other hand, counsel to the complainant Yahaya Bashar Aminu urged that the Kebbi State Criminal Law Act grants the court jurisdiction to entertain the case. He insisted that the defendants Abdulhakim Nuhu and El Tahadam Exploration must appear before the court to have their plea taken, which is a necessary step before the case can proceed.
The court ordered that the first defendant in particular be served with a fresh criminal summons, and the service has been effected on him. And also the court further ordered that the second defendant, which is a corporate body, to comply with the provisions of Section 460 and 461 of the Administration of Criminal Justice Law of Kebbi State 2021.
After hearing arguments from both sides, the court decided to adjourn the case to September 23, 2025 for the arraignment of the defendants. The defendants will be served with fresh criminal summons requiring them to appear in court on the scheduled date. The adjournment allows both parties to further prepare their arguments. In Burin Kebbi, Jafari Yusuf Ilo, NTN.
You're watching NTN Network News. We pause again to bring you some messages. Do stay.
The Senate President Godswill Akpabio, GCON, extends his special appreciation to His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, His Excellency the Vice President Kashim Shatima, GCON, for attending the wedding fatiha of Jagaban Mafara, Nasruddin Abdulaziz Yara Abubakar, and Hajia Safia Shehu Idris, which took place at Sultan Bello Jumaat Mosque, Kaduna, on Friday, 19 September 2025. The Senate President equally extends hearty appreciations to the Senate leadership, distinguished senators, Honorable Speaker House of Representatives, Dr. Tajuddin Abbas, GCON, leadership, and honorable members of the House of Representatives, the APC National Chairman, Professor Natangwe Goshwe Yilwatda, and his National Working Committee, all ministers, all state governors, traditional rulers, technocrats, ulamas, family, friends, and associates who attended the grand and memorable event. For more blessings and safe return to your various destinations. Announcer, Honorable Abdul Malik Zubairu Zannam Bungudu, member representing Maru Bungudu Federal Constituency, Zamfara State.
Thank you for staying, and we shall reward you with a big surprise on the news today. Remember the popular one and only Shalimar musical group that grew from the music show Soul Train big hits to a global sensation. The group has survived from the 1980s to date with some of their greatest hits such as Friends, Night to Remember, and Second Time Around. The Three Musketeers of hip-hop still remain one of the top darlings of music lovers worldwide, having topped musical charts on several occasions. Shalimar's global musical tours had huge following, especially from dance-crazed fans, mostly among young people. And today, a lead member of the group is in Abuja, Nigeria, for engagements that include featuring on several platforms of the NCA. Let me welcome to our studios Shalimar's Jeffrey Glenn Daniel, best known as Jafar. You're welcome to our studios.
Hi, thank you very much. It's glad to be here. It's a pleasure to be here.
Now, how does it feel being in Nigeria? Tell us about your mission.
To be in Nigeria? Well, I mean, you know, me coming back home to the motherland, you know, that's the dream that some of us Black Africans have, because we know that's where our ancestry is from. And so every time we come back here, we feel that sense of belonging and that sense of connectiveness, you know, with the continent and with the people here. So it's an amazing experience for me on many levels for me personally, because now I am here and I have family here as well.
So how do you hope to impact or use your visit to impact the young people in the most populous Black nation in the world during your stay?
Well, our impact has been, we do very wholesome music. Like, our music could be played at a wedding. it could be played in church, because we don't use offensive lyrics. We don't do too much, suggestive things. There's no vulgarity in our presentation. It's feel-good music. That's what they call it, feel-good music. And it makes people feel good about themselves, feel good about life, celebrating life. And I think that's the effect that Shalimar has on people, and that's why we've lasted for so long. And we transcended the generations, we transcended genres, and we're still here today doing what we do.
So tell us your impression about Nigeria, and how do you think the Nigerian music industry is faring at the global stage?
I'm very, very proud of the Nigerian music industry. I'm very proud of the accolades that the artists are making worldwide. I remember back in 2010, it was like 90% Western music, 10% Nigerian music. And now it's like more Nigerian music, and the artists, and they're going around the world and they're doing a great job. And I hope that they continue doing what they're doing, because they're representing the country, Nigeria, and they're representing the continent as well. And it's a good look. It's a very good look.
You've interacted with Nigerians since your coming, and so what's your impression of the Nigerian citizen here at home?
My impressions of the Nigerian citizen?
Yeah.
I think Nigerians are some of the most resilient people on the planet. And I'm not saying that because I'm here. You can go look on Google. Google the smartest family in the world. Not black, not white, just Google the smartest family in the world. They're in London, but they're Nigerian descent. In America, the #1 university students are Nigerian. Some of them #1 engineers, pediatricians, whatever, they'll be Nigerian. And that's what's happening. So for me to be counted among the Nigerians and being here in the biggest black population on the planet, that's where we are. And so, as I always say, if you look at that pocket of black Americans that got you James Brown, Quincy Jones, Aretha Franklin, the Jacksons, Earth, Wind and Fire, on and on and on. From that pocket of black Americans, we're now in the biggest black population on the planet. What do you think is going to come from here? So you're going to be expecting a lot, and a lot is coming from here.
So music, like journalism, is a lifetime passion. Aside music, what are you doing with your life?
Music is my passion. Dancing is my passion. Entertainment, I can say, entertainment. But if you go on YouTube, you'll hear me doing some commentaries, and I'm disseminating a lot of information, historical, scientific, religious, and I think it's my onus to pass down knowledge to the younger generation and try to help them come along better. And I think that's a lot of what I really want to do. Of course, I'm known as an entertainer, and that's my forte, but I want to use my platform to help enrich us, to get us back on our feet, because even though we love to celebrate, but time for the ultimate celebration isn't yet, because we're still a work in progress. We're still trying to get our foot, on the global map and on the social map. We're still trying to get ourselves together. That's on both sides, on the American side and the African side. And I think it's time for us to come together and to help uplift each other, because if you look at the world stage, what's happening in Ukraine and Gaza and all these places, what's happening in America politically, it's like the Western world is now taking a bad turn, and it's time for us to stand up. I think it's our turn. Africa is the future.
So give us your parting words in this conversation, and of course, one or two lyrics from one of your best hits.
Okay, well, of course, you guys come down to see us October 4th at the ICC. Shalimar will be here to reunite with our African and our Nigerian public. You guys are going to have a night to remember. When you love someone, it's natural, not demanding. And that's one thing I'm proud to say I found in you. I'm so glad we reached that understanding. And I know my heart is safe with you.
Yes, yes, yes. Your heart is really safe with us here in Nigeria. We thank you so much. We thank you so much. I'm going to dust off my dancing shoes. I'm going to be at that performance that you're going to give us here in Abuja. So thank you and good luck.
My pleasure. Thank you.
All right. President Bola Tinubu has congratulated music icon Innocent Two-Face Idibia on his 50th birthday, celebrating his significant contributions to Nigeria's entertainment industry. The president praises Two-Face's resilience, creativity, and dedication to promoting Nigerian culture globally. He highlights the musician's enduring legacy, particularly with his hit song African Queen, which showcased African music to the world. President Tinubu also commends Two-Face's commitment to promoting peace, unity and good governance in Nigeria. He wishes the music legend joy, fulfillment and good health in the years ahead. We now go live to Benny Adams on the business desk, who brings us the latest updates and trends from the business world. Benny, you're on.
Thank you, Lami. And talking business, Nigeria's capital market is about to receive a kind of boost that will catapult the growth of Nigeria's economy. This is as Nasarawa State University, KEFI, has made history with the foundation laying of the first study-based institute of capital markets in Africa, which is vital for productive investment and economic growth. Nguse Piva reports that the institute is aimed at equipping Nigerians with the necessary knowledge on how to manage the country's funds.
It is to serve as Africa's premier center for financial markets research, training and policy engagement.
We are not merely laying bricks. We are laying the foundation of knowledge, innovation and national transformation.
It is hoped that the policy insight that will emanate from this center will no doubt strengthen regulation, deepen market activities and support sustainable development.
And still on the capital market, though, on the flip side, investors lost 264 billion as the all-share index fell by 0.29%, reversing some of the gains recorded in the two previous sessions. With sell-offs in NGX Group, the UCAP, UBA, Access Bank, Vitafoam, among others. And from Nigeria, we look at stocks in South Africa, the South Africa market, where investors at this point are actually smiling home with some billions, having added 0.69% to the share value of 98,714.31 basis points. And from South Africa, we take a look at the Kenyan market. Kenya has been in red for the last 3 market transaction days, with them going down at 0.87% to close with a value of 173.50 basis points. And lastly, the Tunisia market at this point, Tunisia is also being in green, having a value of 0.1% increase in 12,374.54 basis points, having a value increase of 12.20%. That is it on business at this time. Lami, you can take it from here.
Thank you, Benny. Now, the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, has inaugurated its groundbreaking Creative Media Sector Skills Steering Committee, marking a new era in the media industry. This committee aims to identify specific areas where skills shortages are most acute and tap into expertise in the dynamic realm of creative media development and workforce training. Garba Nata'ala tells us more.
Director General, I want to remind you of the importance of this exercise, to really put in our efforts, to be dedicated.
Filled with a sense of purpose, the committee, comprising of seasoned media professionals, academic experts drawn from the National Board for Technical Education, MBTE, members from the Creative Media Sector Skills Council, the film industry, digital content creators, and technical specialists affirmed their resolve to address critical skills gaps in Nigeria's changing creative industry.
Each time I listen to our colleagues on television, I feel, very, very unhappy the way things are going. And I've been thinking of how can we begin to train our young generations, to get the rudiments of the profession.
Their mandate now is to develop strategic training frameworks, establish skill certification standards, and create pathways for emerging talents to become gainfully employed in the industry. The Renewed Hope initiative comes as Nigeria's creative industry continues to gain international recognition, with Nollywood currently ranking as the world's second largest film industry and Nigerian music artists achieving widespread global acclaim, having the potential for economic and cultural impact.
The Sector Skill Council is designed to bridge the gap between industry and training providers by first identifying occupational standards and competencies required in the creative media sector.
You are tasked with overseeing the implementation of training programs that are in line with global best practices and meet the specific needs of our local industry.
To translate vision into action, this approach aims to engage international partners for knowledge transfer in areas such as digital storytelling, film production techniques, and multimedia journalism. In Abuja, Garba Muhammad Natala, NT News.
The Lagos State government is in the forefront of promoting professionalism in the public workspace, changing public service one person at a time to drive organizational performance, citizen satisfaction, and overall governance effectiveness in the public service sector. To deliver value to the people, the state government, in partnership with the Chartered Institute of Personnel Management of Nigeria, CIPM, has certified 141 of its personnel as human resource professionals to raise the standard of HR practice in government institutions at its 65th induction ceremony in Lagos. Ime Udori's report is here presented.
Aligning public sector employees with government goals through improved and efficient service delivery to promote transparency in personnel practices, support public sector reforms and management is key to enhancing professionalism and growth of the public service. This underscores CIPM's commitment to building resilience and responsiveness in the public service while preparing human resources HRO professionals to address both local challenges and global demands.
We will expect them to be better able to manage the people they are in charge of, to mentor other people, give back, to people wherever it is they work. And in doing that, they grow the service.
We are committed as an institute to ensuring, through the variety of programs, learning programs that we run, that our members are continuously developing themselves. I have to mention, a lot of these programs are free.
There was also a lecture on the future of HR in ensuring an agile and innovative workforce in the public service sector.
Adopt digital technologies and digital tools to do government business.
A total of 141 inductees were administered oath of allegiance and certified by the Institute to practice as HRO professionals in their respective organizations.
It's going to change the way I operate in human resource aspect, the resilience, how I bring change into my ministry in different aspects for productivity.
We should also go out there to impact on others. I will achieve that by organizing lectures, training in my organization.
Where the HR is being practiced best is public service. We need to let the world know through our dedication and our practice.
The ideas and resources from these newly chartered members of the Institute are expected to rewrite the blueprint of public service in Nigeria.
Sports news is next after the break. The 2030 Commonwealth Games Bid Evaluation Committee has raised the hope of Nigeria in winning the bidding war for the Centenary Games. It was at the ongoing inspection of facilities and infrastructure as the Moshood Abiola National Stadium in Abuja. Austin Edemodu is monitoring the events for NTA.
The last time Nigeria made an attempt to host the Commonwealth Games was in 2007. 18 years later, Nigeria is back again with another bid to host the 2030 edition. These are the critical stakeholders, including the leadership of the National Sports Commission, the 2030 Commonwealth Games Bid Evaluation Committee, and the visiting members of the Commonwealth Inspection Team.
You will be convinced that Nigeria is really committed and is able, more than able, and have the capabilities and the possibilities to host what I will term the best games ever in the Commonwealth.
And we're really excited to see all the wonderful venues and just to see all the passion and all the people that have pulled together such an exciting proposition for Commonwealth sport and for Nigeria for the future.
And in hosting the games, will create an avenue for 850 million young Africans by 2050 to be well positioned to do what they know how to do best.
This is the prototype of the proposed Games Village at the Moshood Abiola National Stadium, Abuja. Package A will host athletics, track and field events. Here is the International Broadcast Center being managed by the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, as broadcast partners for the proposed 2030 Commonwealth Games in Abuja here in Nigeria. Of course, facilities and equipment here are being upgraded to that effect. The management of the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, led by the DG's representative, the Executive Director of News, Ayo Ademui, conducted the team around the International Broadcast Center. The inspection team also visited some training facilities as they continue with the assignment till Friday. In Abuja, Austin Edemodu, NTA News.
And that does it on NTA Network News for today. We thank you for being a part of it. I'm Lami Ali.